Thank you so much, all the panelists, Mekin, Gopal, Raghav, and Neha. Um, this morning I was thinking about it, that we are talking about the future of jobs in AI era. Um, you know, I was reading about it that, uh, you know, we are talking about almost 500 billion coming in, pouring in uh, because of AI in Indian markets, in the GDP. Okay, 500 billion, half a trillion, right? Uh, Fun fact, we have 500 million rising workforce in India, right? Let me take a chair. We have half a billion rising workforce in India, right? It's a very unique number to talk about, right? Um, we we are in a very, I think we are at an inflection point from where we need to decide how we plan to reshape or redefine, our work, our workforce, and our workplace, right? So very connected, and that's why we had the lovely spectrum of panelists here who are actually operating on doing day in, day out in terms of startup innovation. But not just that, they are also trying to disrupt or transform. I will not use the word disruption. I think they are trying to transform the education ecosystem, the employment ecosystem, right, together. So without any further delay, straight away on the question, starting with Neha, because she is monetizing a lot from, she has a vantage point, by the way, guys, right? A lot of data, a lot of information, Neha, what do you think with this changing era? The world is changing so fast, right? Where do you see what all jobs are going to, disappear? Where are the green shoots are? How things are shaping up now? What kind of roles, in fact, AI is creating now?
Firstly, glad to be here. Talking about, I think AI is now, it is a reality in a sense that, like for instance, for us as a company, we've crossed 10 years. And since the beginning, obviously, there has been a lot of experiments in, like machine learning, etc., that we had been doing. But obviously, the results that we have been getting in for the last, I would say, year and a half, that has been amazing. And the accuracy of that, has gone up. Like every quarter, it's very noticeable. So coming to the point of, what jobs we feel, what at least I feel, are going to be more impacted. Unfortunately, what I've seen, in the past, whatever 1 year, all the models that have come up, is the ones which are probably the lower skill, unfortunately, are the ones which are getting automated much, much faster. And that has become a reality. Like even in our company, for instance, in the last 1 year, we have shrank our data team headcount by nearly 30%, right? While all the other things have probably exponentially increased, and obviously the tech team has probably increased much more. So I think that has become a reality, that some of the low skill ones are probably going to be most impacted. The other thing is obviously anything which has to do with content creation, either it's in legal or it's in content, they are getting very good results through this. But I think it'll be a sort of a change. Like people, this is something that people, will now have to, learn and be very hands-on, irrespective of whether you are in the tech team or not in tech team. Like top to bottom, like all business manager, everyone, has to be very hands-on with this.
You have been tracking thousands of startups, Neha. Anything specific that you want to double click on? Any specific industry? Any specific functions or roles? I know you mentioned about content creation, low end jobs. Every function has low ends, mid and high end jobs. Anything specific that you want to double click?
One thing which I can definitely say in the context of startups and investors is, right now, if you ask any investor, in India or in fact globally, AI is definitely, in the top one, probably followed up by quick commerce and brands, given the India story. But, everyone is looking at companies in AI. Obviously India is having lesser infrastructure companies, I would say, within AI, more on the application, more on the services, there are more companies, but obviously, every investor, that's one of the definitely among the top 3 sectors that they're actively looking at.
Interesting. Lovely. I think quickly to move towards, Neha mentioned about startup lens. In Indian ecosystem, startups have always been considered as a job creators, right? Raghav, over to you. While there is a very contrarian conversations going on across, right? And I'm sure since morning there is a lot of overload of information about AI, Gen AI, and everything happening. Where do you see, is AI actually creating more jobs, or the other theme that we are seeing about driving efficiency, more from less? What's happening actually?
Sure. So I think I'll start with a more philosophical answer. If you look at history, whenever humans have gotten better tools at their disposal, they start solving more complicated problems. So the assumption is that because we have a better tool at our disposal, we'll start solving better problems, and a new kind of jobs around machine learning, around deep sciences will be created. But how is that playing out right now? Not that much. Because if you look at the people who are employed in the pure play service sector, that is far higher than the job creation that is happening in the deep sciences sector. From a job creation viewpoint, we need to look at two aspects. The India story is about the India consumption story. The India consumption story is real. The Indian consumers are getting more money. More money is being circulated in the economy. What that means is that there will be a requirement of more kinds of folks just to service them. Now, those folks can be plumbers, can be welders, can be whatever it is. They don't have to be IT folks or marketers per se. Secondly, because till now one of the biggest bottlenecks for India was resources for the entrepreneurial talent. With AI, with agentic AI, the resources you need to start a company go dramatically down. What that means is the global exports for both services and goods at a India level should ideally increase. So overall, philosophically, new jobs will be created that will value more complexity of thought, that will value more regulatory stuff around compliance, around ethics, around sustainability. From an India story viewpoint, India as an economy is growing. The consumption story is real. Every data is showing you that the Indian consumer will have more money. So there will be a job creation happening because of that, because of money circulating in the economy. Now, what are those jobs? May not be the typical IT job that we are seeing in Bangalore. Maybe a kirana store, maybe a helper, maybe physical labor. And from a standpoint of overall, will AI create more jobs? It will create more opportunities. Now, do those opportunities translate into more headcount? Probably not. But yeah, opportunities will be more, there will be more money involved, and there will be two kinds of people. Either you are a winner or you are a victim. I would say most people will be victims of AI. They will get displaced. That's where the government will step up. Universal basic income will step in. There will be some regulatory support. Already 80 crore people in India are getting free ration every day. That is already happening for the last 3-4 years. So automatically government will play a role. Job creation will happen, but few people will get benefit of that and they will capture more value.
Interesting. I think this made me change the question for Gopal now. I think from disruption to opportunity, and like Raghav mentioned, Gopal, this is to you. Raghav mentioned about that India being a consumption-driven economy, right? There is a lot of, employment opportunities are created through that. Right? I think the most important part is with AI coming in, people started to talk about efficiencies, automations, etc. Efficiency is one, but employability is another, which is a long-standing problem, right? So from the seat, from the desk that you are, Gopal, and you are solving some of those problems from the skilling systems perspective, do you really see that 500 million growing working population in India, the workforce, are we ready for the AI jobs?
Yeah. So very beautiful question, very interesting question. Uh, and first, of course, can education be a scalable thing? That we learned in PW only. With PW, we realized yes, things can be scalable. Coming to skills as a part, all right. So before we even start into this, that should we do the scaling at scale or not? First question I think we should ask ourselves is, why should we really do it? Why is it required, right? And the answer to that is very simple. Majorly two things which we need, for our youth to do: either get a job, start earning, or run your own venture, run your own startup, your own venture, whatever. All right. Broadly, the idea is to earn something which can make your life better, or your family, your parents, your society's life better. That is the why part. All right. Now the interesting, thing about skilling segment specifically is, if you see, there are actually three, three vertices of a triangle here. The first part is the learner itself, the student or the youth which you are talking about. The second part is the education provider, in that sense, the person who is working on, skilling the students and so. And the third part is, you can say, the job provider, broadly. All right. Uh, First thing which I think we should definitely see is from the job provider's perspective, that are they ready to consume talent? Are they ready to consume a talent which has the right skill sets, which has the right talent, right skills which is required for the job and so. So yes, that shift we are already seeing, that is happening in the market. Companies are open. A few years back, they were a bit rigid on, let's say, degrees and stuff. Right now that is changing. Now companies prefer people with more on the skill set aspect than the degrees per se. Now coming to the learner aspect, student aspect, are they ready? So still, I think that will take some mindset change for the students to, get out of the degree mindset first and get into a skilling mindset. That skill is more important rather than just getting some tag, some certification, some diploma. All right. So that is one. That is second change, and then comes the role of the education provider, which is like a company like PW or other institutions which are trying to do. All right. So yes, that is very possible. Scalability, skilling at scalability is very possible. Now, what all things will be required? Point number one: when you want to do things at scale, the first thing you need is accessibility, or in simple sense, affordability. Without affordability in India, cracking it at scale is very difficult, because as Raghav also suggested, 80%, 80 CR people are on government provided ration, right? So we'll have to bring accessibility, affordability into the system. Point number one. That accessibility can come from the technology, which we realized in PW's journey also, because now the beauty is we have mobile with everyone, more or less every student, every family has a mobile, and thanks to Jio and Airtel, data is very cheap, kind of the cheapest in the world. So technology is there, network is there, internet is there. So I think with technology, skilling can be done. But with skilling, one important thing is the hands-on experience or the project experience that needs to be integrated from the education provider side, plus taking help from the industry or job provider side, so that students can actually learn skills by doing, by experimenting, by project. All right. So I think skilling is possible at scale. It will take some time, not an easy thing. Yeah.
Lovely. That's great. I think what we understand so far is there is opportunity. What we also understand, there is an employability. What we also understand, that to drive scalability, we need to, bring some affordability factor in place. Megan, I think I've become your fan in a very short notice, so I must admit that. You know, shifting to the uneven impact, right? The distribution. That's where I think you're working very. The most important part in all of this is, I think, inclusivity, right? Our ability to reach to the lowest segment or to the mid segment will only create a difference in India, right? Because out of that 500 rising workforce we are talking about, most of it is unstructured. Our MSMEs is the most toughest market in India that we keep trying to solve for, right? I'm sure a lot of founders, investors are operating on those lines. So my question to you, Mekin, is, and this question is because you have been working in a very grassroots level, very deep. You were giving example right before this session about Uttarakhand, where the schools that you are actually solving problems for, the last 5 kilometers are on the feet, right, to reach there. Which section of the workforce or the society is most at risk? And what do you think, how we can drive adoption over there to make them more employable in the AI era?
Okay. Maybe I'll just spend a couple of minutes on context, right? That in India, the percentage of our salaried workforce is between 7 to 10%. Right? And to most people in this room, that might be shocking because we think that, oh, like livelihood or earning money is only through a job, which is how our schools and colleges have portrayed that that's what life and success looks like. 50% of India's workforce is in farms. There is a large percentage as artisans, casual labor, etc. And for most of them, they aren't necessarily highly digital. So first, just from first principles point of view, artificial intelligence works on digital and digitized as an information/knowledge-based economy. So the largest at risk are actually the knowledge economy folks. It is the folks whose job has been to create digital products, whether it is content creators, whether it is coders. So anything that can be digitized or is mostly digitized is at the largest risk with AI. We've already seen that with, as in marketing folks, social media folks, and coders being impacted significantly. The impact feels a lot higher in this room or in Bangalore today because we have a larger percentage of them here. When you think about a Kirana store owner, a farmer's job is not getting impacted by AI, right? If anything, AI can possibly help the farmer do better. And I feel like one of the larger challenges I see is in our view to using AI or thinking about AI, we are not thinking AI plus. That, okay, what does farmer plus AI look like? Or what does a plumber plus AI look like? Because so anything that requires real world doing is not at risk with AI. It can only become better. And there is room for it becoming more efficient. I think jobs, as we know, that's 7%. A lot of them are in the knowledge and digital space. Jobs anyways were at risk because fewer and fewer employers want people. They want to do more with less. Gig work, as well as the attitude of the younger generations of wanting flexibility has given a rise to becoming an influencer, becoming a YouTuber and not taking up a job as more preferred aspirations. So I feel like the sooner we let go of the mindset of padhai karni hai, naukri karni hai, to like, hey, I have to learn to do things in the real world and create value, right? We'll probably be in a better state to be able to enable more value creation to be happen. I think what Raghav mentioned, that there are a lot of opportunities in India. There are massive amount of opportunities and problems that exist for value creation. And if you unleash some of that value creation, like take any area and you will find tons of problems. Like I don't see AI thinking about or working on Bangalore's traffic. All of us struggle and suffer through it. And we are happy with AI not trying to solve that problem, right? Or figuring out, okay, how can AI, so how do we get to AI solving real and important problems versus coming from, oh, this is what AI can do today, and like literally AI happening to us. So I feel like there is, for humans to be more agentic, all puns intended, right? And like figure out which are the areas we actually need AI to be working for us versus allowing AI to happen to us.
Lovely, loved it. Megan, this gives me a quick question to all of us now. Every time a new technology hits the market and the conversation starts to move into humans versus machine, technology replacing the jobs, etc., etc. But nobody actually, and then you mentioned it, it's AI with humans, right? Technology with humans. I'm going to take a round with all the panels. A quick one take. Where do you see, how you are seeing organizations or the ecosystem, the startup ecosystem, the academia ecosystem is putting efforts to create a trust and collaborative environment, or building that trust and creating that collaboration, in the AI era? Do you see anything or do you suggest anything? Happy to take that take with you. Neha.
So I think to start with, like people feel that, oh, it'll take away the job, but it's like the computer movement. Like when the computers were first introduced, people used to say that, oh, that'll take away the jobs. Please don't have the computers, but nothing happened actually. For instance, in India, it just created the whole IT sector, which is one of the largest employer, I would say. So here also it's like a skill, and people have to sort of learn that. And I think from organizations right now, it is being driven top down. Even though it is not clear, what is it going to happen, today, people are actually, it's sort of at a top level mandate at most of the places, which is good in a sense that, people are saying, okay, this is the tool now, go there, experiment, and then see what your department can gain out of it. Like all the developers are definitely being asked to use a copilot or use a cursor or some other platform. But this is throughout the department, top down. People are saying that okay, let's use AI for your department and let's see what you take away from it, which I think is good in that sense. So there will be a lot of experiments. And there will be a lot of interesting efficiencies and disruptions that the department owners themselves will come out. So I think that's a good thing that is happening in a lot of organizations, big as well as small. That this is so much of a buzzword that this has to be like a top level mandate being driven down.
Yeah. So I think in the last 45 days, I would have hired about 120 people, and all of them are in sales. So what matters is the emotional quotient. Humans want humans. So I think the question is, what will not change in 10 years? Humans will still want to interact with humans. Humans will still want to get services from humans. So what I tell people in my organization or my friends and myself as well is that we need to ask ourselves what will not change in 10 years. I think we all have a broad idea about, we are very sure that this part will not change, and then double down on it, because most things, be it the knowledge worker or be it the mundane task, can ideally get automated today itself. But the problem is that there is a lot of fighting from within. This is the first time tech teams are fighting with tech teams, because the tech team, the second tech team, is trying to automate the first tech team. So that's why you are seeing a little bit of lag. It is coming for sure, but humans will always want humans, and we should just double down on those skills.
Good one, Raghav. Gopal.
So I think we find ourselves very fortunate to be in education industry at this time when AI is booming. And so right now our entire focus, especially at PW, if I talk about, we are majorly focusing on making education as personal, as customizable for a student as possible. I think this was the one initiative we have recently launched, our Aryabhatta model, language model for JEE and NEET students. And right now the idea is to make AI, leverage AI for better student experience, better learning experience for the students. Coming to the organization perspective, yes, there are initiatives which are happening here and there to automate things or to do things better. We, as an organization, we don't see AI more of a threat or more of a replacement of people, but rather empowering people. So I think that has already happened in many of the teams. We have done a lot of training and development programs also to empower them, to make them better, and so. And I think that is the right approach. We are responsible for our team members also. So why not empower them more, right? So that is what we are thinking on. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. I think your broader question of collaboration between government, academia, startups, etc., I feel is a tricky one, tough one. It hasn't happened earlier. It isn't happening with AI. I don't see it at least happening. I do, in terms of capabilities and skills of the future that might be useful. Again, I think there is enough happening in the non-digital world. So all of that remains, wahan pe there is a lot that's possible. But besides that, some of the human capabilities that Raghav hinted at, which is imagination, inspiration, empathy, being there, supporting people, right? Being compassionate. I think there is a large area that's possible for us to double down on. That said, I think last week's publication showed that the largest use case for AI is now companionship. Number 5 is coding.
Yeah.
Right? And I know organizations where 95% code is now written by AI. So the degree of companionship that AI is providing today tells us how lonely a world we live in. And I feel like in the absence of humans stepping up and doing that better, the world we might be leaning into might be lonelier if it's AI that's actually providing us the companionship.
Lovely, that's a great one. Thank you so much, Mekin. I think with an interest of time, what a quick summary, and I think I'll talk about my takeaway. I'm sure audience will have theirs as well. We have we started with the question of future of jobs in AI era. I think one key takeaway I got, the first one was we need to reskill quickly because velocity is important, right? So the first one was we need to reskill quickly. The second one was we need to innovate boldly, right? The disruption that we are talking about, the adoption we are talking about. And third, and the most important part, is we need to bring every section of society, we need to bring the inclusivity, the inclusively, human-centered adoption. These are the three things will play a role to decide the future of jobs in AI era for India, for a better workforce, for a better workplace, and for better work. With that, I really, really want to thank you all the panels. Thank you so much, panelists. Neha, Raghav, Gopal. Lovely meeting all of you. Thank you.